So hi guys, hi from Andrea Unger. Let's have a look at what happened in my trading 2019. So I look into some of the most important markets or sectors, and I do this to identify the behavior of these markets related to my models. So I look at the results trying to understand if there is a change in behavior, in responses to my models, which means that market is changing compared to its historical behavior. And you know that there has been a change moving on lately. I said in other occasions that my favorite markets to trade were DAX and crude oil mostly, but those were not delivering the results I hoped. While other markets, which I didn't like to trade, such as the E-mini S&P 500 and the bonds, were actually showing good results, which meant they were at a higher degree of stability compared to the DAX and crude oil. If this is true or not, also in 2019, this is something we are looking at immediately. And we start with the energy sector, which is the bad part of the year. This really delivered bad results. The main future is the crude oil. Here is a collage of the activity statement, the last day of 2019 from Interactive Brokers. There is the month-to-date column, which is not very important, but the year-to-date shows you the results of each expiry during the year. And you can see, you can notice how, apart from the most recent expiry, which lost money during the year, also November and December lost a decent amount of money. October was positive, September positive as well, but also August, July, and also April were negative. And overall, the behavior of crude oil would be rated as negative, as bad, which means that crude oil, most of the strategies of which in my basket are trend following, has become a bit choppy and is not responding very well to the inputs I'm putting in my strategies, especially related to the time horizon of my trades, which are either intraday or restricted to a short number of days. Probably a longer time horizon would help, but this is something I've not heavily developed into yet. So maybe it's something I will look into for the future development of strategies. What is bad here is gasoline, which has always so far been very well responding to trend following behavior, and it did in the earlier part of the year, but the last months, you can see here, December is neutral, November and October were very bad. Also August. September was a good month, but September was good also on the crude oil expiry, so probably it was a particular month for the energy sector. But this bad latter part of the year is worrying me a little bit, because gasoline has always been very well performing in my portfolio, and it showed here a strong weakness, which is an alarm bell, and which is something I have to be careful about for the prosecution of the trades in gasoline. Heating oil, I put it in here just because it's an energy future. Actually, I left natural gas out because I'm just looking at some of the most important here. Did not perform well. But I know this. I've not very brilliant strategies on heating oil. Okay, you can claim, look, you had a very good result on the October expiry, 29,000 euros. Yes, but this is related to the attack to Saudi Arabian petrol stations. And you remember I showed you in a video that I was on a long position overnight, over weekend, with 7 contracts, and that in that case heating oil opened in a strong gap up, giving a very good result to my portfolio, reflected in this outcome, which is anyway not significant for the heating oil results overall. So netting the results from this single excellent trade, the results of heating oil are absolutely negative. So energy was the bad part of the year. Going on, index futures, again, mini S&P played the most important role. You can see overall the expiries I traded in 2019, there was a strong stability in results. All were positive. Also the most recent in the month of December, both on the March expiry and on the December 19 expiry were positive. And I mean, this is absolutely good, brilliant, in spite of my psychology not liking the strategies on mini S&P, mostly mean reverting strategies. But the evidence of the results should push me in a different direction. I mentioned that I liked DAX, but also this year, in 2019, DAX was not as brilliant as it used to be in the late 2008, 9, 10 or so. You can see overall it had a positive outcome, but the June expiry was deeply and strongly negative. This alone is nearly wiping out all the profits, not all, but most of them. So again, stability on DAX is not fair because this strong loss actually is heavy over all the results, and is something I have to consider in the future, because again, DAX showed a lack of stability in its behavior compared to the past years. Gold, I do trade a number of strategies for gold, both trend following and mean reverting, but gold is in the land of nowhere. You can see that it made some money, but nothing really significant compared to the overall results. Lately, it worked well. The last expiry made money in December, but overall it is not brilliant, and it had also serious trouble in the December expiry. You can see it here. So gold was not a good market for me in 2019. Coming to bonds, the Euro bond here, Bund, did make money, but in the latter part of the year it did also lose money. You can see it here. While the 30 years bonds here, okay, made money with a certain degree of stability throughout the year, but for the December expiry, but it didn't lose as much as the Euro bond expiry, you see. Probably because the set of strategies that I have on the 30 years bond is more diversified compared to the models I use on the Euro bond. And this helped to keep more stable results. But again, generally speaking, the results on bond are positive, in spite of the fact that I don't like trading bonds. I also put the 10 years notes here, but this is irrelevant because I have only one strategy here and it doesn't trade very often, so it lost some money, but nothing really dramatic. So this is actually, again, another confirmation to so that I should focus more on those markets showing a higher degree of efficiency and stability in response to my models, mean S&P and bonds. I will learn sometime. Overall, what happened, this is from a portfolio analyst of Interactive Brokers, the result, this is the equity line and a cumulative result of 26-something%, which is absolutely positive for me. I'm aiming at something around an average of 20%, so I had what I consider a good year. The stability of equity line is not the best, but these bad periods were mostly related to the commercial war between USA and China. Some tweets of Mr. Trump, they affected the portfolio, but in the end it did well. So I mean, I have to be satisfied. 2020 started in a very bad way. We know about the news, what is happening in terms of political problems we have, and this is worrying, especially for what is going on between USA and Iran. But it is also affecting the market, so we will see what happens and how we will come out of this situation. That's it, guys. That's my 2019. We talk again in 1 year time. Ciao. So guys, you enjoyed it? I think so. I hope so. In any case, if now you feel that you want to understand more about automated trading, to understand more about strategy development and everything that is concerned with this, I have this link here where you can register for a workshop, an online workshop together, something more than 1 hour or so, where I will go in depth in strategy development topics so that you can get even more familiar with the whole matter. If strategy development is something you want to go ahead with, this is the link for you. Register, it's free, we meet you there and we can discuss about what it means to develop a trading system. See you there, ciao from Andrea Unger.